Hey everyone, good evening. I guess I'm live. If you can see me, hear me, please comment so I know that there's no issues in hearing me or seeing me. Okay, we will wait for people to join. So, in today's video, I want to cover about the job prospects in Australia and what are the common mistakes that people do when they redo their resume, and also, what are the things that you might consider doing in your resume to get your jobs. So addressing about jobs and different criterias. So this one will have more of my experience, and I worked as a recruitment consultant in an Australian company for a brief period of time. So it'll be from the employer's perspective and from an employee's perspective, like an applicant's perspective as well. So before we go to the actual video, the content of today's video, I'm so happy to share my first success in starting this channel. So this whole channel was started to give information, to provide awareness, and to educate people about Australian immigration and to stop people from getting scammed, because my own brother was scammed, and that's the whole purpose I created this channel. And guess what? There was an Australian journalist who had researched about the maritime crew visa, which is subclass 988, and there's so much of scam going on around the world about this particular visa. So many people are getting scammed, and I think she was doing a bit of research about this, and she found my video. And then she asked me yesterday that she had prepared the content and everything, and she was like, your content was more appropriate with a lot of information. Can we use it in our journal? I'm going to use your name. She used my thumbnail. I said, that's fine. That's the whole point of creating that video, to prevent people from getting scammed. So it's published on all the Australian journal, but the e-copy, I can send you the link in the comments and you can have a look at it. So that's the whole purpose of this channel. So it is to create awareness, and that's the reason it's more targeted towards what you want. So I ask you all in the poll, what videos would you like to watch? And most of you had wanted information about jobs and job opportunities, and here we are doing this video. And I'm also going to in this video, I'm going to show you some live examples of Australian job requirement websites, how to browse for information, how to get keywords, and how to modify your resume out of it. Okay, what are the information that are very critical in Australian job markets, and what are the things that you don't have to disclose or you don't need to disclose in Australian job markets? So stick around till the end, because this will be definitely useful, and I feel you will get something out of this whole entire live. Okay, now moving on. First thing that I want you all to know is understanding that a resume, one, there's no one size fits all. So in India, even when I used to apply for jobs, I would just prepare one resume and just forward it, give it to different job agencies, and that's not how things work here. Okay, so first thing we have to understand is we have to customize CV or resume. So they don't say resume, they say resume or CV. To different jobs. When you're applying for different jobs, you're expected to customize it based on the role that you're applying for. Okay, so that is the first like thumb rule that you have to know. And the second thing is, you need not disclose everything there. Okay, I'm not saying you to include false information. Please get this piece right. I'm telling you, there's no need to include everything right from your 10th standard to your last job for one particular job that you're applying. You might be applying for a supermarket role, you might be applying for a petrol station job, you might be applying for an admin role, or you might be applying for a professor role. Okay, so these are the jobs. Trust me, you'll be applying for different kinds of roles once you land in this country. So you will have separate resumes for separate purposes. So I used to have one for retail or sales. I prepared one for admin kind of jobs, because the responsibilities will be kind of similar. These are the two kind of jobs that I was applying for when I came in here, right on the day I landed. Okay, so I've shared my experience in other videos. I don't want to go over it again. It's not about me, it's about you. So how you can get your job, how you can modify your resume in getting your first job. So I'm not saying your dream job, a job in your field, but we will see that as well. So we have to have different set of resume for different purposes. Okay. Now, when you craft your resume, we are inclined, we are used to something like putting our entire information, and people when they send the resume, I'll be like, oh my god, you can't give such information. So here there is so much of very very critical information like personal data, even to ask your gender. It is a big thing here. Okay, so it's not like India, you have to give everything in your resume. So there's no need to give your personal details. If you don't want to include your address, you need not include your address. It's up to you. You need not say you're married, you're single. You need not disclose your date of birth, your age, your nationality. And especially I find people who are in Australia do this mistake. They say, I am on 489 visa, I am on this visa. There's no need unless they ask for it, because all the job portals will have this thing saying, do you have unlimited work rights? So you will say yes, and if it's a visa, you will write your subclass. So the Seek or the portal itself is designed in a way to capture such information. So do not project things which will make the employer think. Okay, that is another key takeaway message. You are not shadowing, you're not faking some information, but you are not projecting something that might make the employer think whether to recruit you or not. I'm not sure if there's a shadow here because of this lighting. I'm sorry. Yeah, that should do. Yeah. Okay, that's all good. There was the shadow here. Okay, so that is the main thing that I want you to all know, that there is no need for you all to include that complete information which is not relevant to your job. If asked, you can provide that information by all means. Okay, and when you take a resume, we have the standard template where we have a name, address, phone number, and then we have an objective, and then we have this dabba or a box where you have different school name, percentage. Okay, that could be okay, but there is no need for that. Okay, they see, it's all about, they think what you bring to the table, meaning what you have, your previous experience which is relevant to the role that you're applying for. Only think about that. Okay, if you're applying for a sales job, write only the experience that involved something related to sales. Okay, and there is something called transferable skills. Okay, so this is something very key to an Australian job market. So even though you do not have that exact experience, you might not have that exact work requirement or the responsibilities that they've asked for, but you can always say that I have this body of knowledge in these different things that I can bring to this particular role, which will add to this role. So it's all about you crafting a story in such a way that you say that you are the right fit for that particular role. You are the right fit for that particular job that they have advertised. You are the right fit for that particular company. Okay, so the reason being, the cover letter and CV, most of the time the CV or the resume goes through a computer check. Okay, so it's all about keywords that it picks up. Most of the times it doesn't. That's what I was being told in most of the huge job agencies. It doesn't go to a human to read through it. So the most of the time it's the algorithm, it's the software that picks up the keywords with the resume with maximum keyword matches, and it lets you to proceed. And that's why if you see LinkedIn, if you go to the LinkedIn job section, you will see for this particular job, your resume matches these search criteria. I think that is the best way to tell you that this is the way you can understand that how much you are relevant to that role. So you know what is the best way to change your resume or modify your resume, amend your resume to that particular role. Okay, I think that makes sense. Okay, if it does, please comment and ask questions relevant to this, and I will get to it when I answer all that I had to answer. Okay, now that's the next thing that I want you to know, that the resume is fed through a software which will analyze how many keywords are matching with that particular role. So make sure you've got keywords there which will explain the qualities and traits that you have, which will match that particular jobs. All right. Now, if you look at a particular role, you know which are the key things that are required, which are the key traits that are required, that are expected by an employer. So, if they're asking for project management skills, make sure you show your experience in that particular role. So, when you write about your resume, so you need not have your address. That's optional, but please have your phone number and email, because that's the way they would like to communicate with you. So, and there's no other personal information required, like your date of birth, your passport number, your visa, your marital status, your dad's name. They don't care. Okay. So don't include all that. Keep it as brief as possible, and do not, they usually don't encourage 5 to 6 pages of resume. Okay, so keep it to maximum of 3 if you're applying for professional jobs, and to 1 page. Okay, just 1 page CV if you're applying for just a normal casual job, like in cafes, in supermarkets, and stuff like that. All they need is your name, contact details, brief work experience, whatever you've done, and references. Okay, so references meaning people who have you have worked with, who can provide a reference for you. If they call and ask about you, they will be in a position to tell, okay, this person is a good charactered person, and this was their work ethic, and they worked well, they're punctual, they're organized, whatever. Every company has their own way to do reference checks. They can either give a call, they can give them an email. So they will only contact the person whom you have listed in your resume. And even there, in some companies, they will ask about professional references, meaning people who you have worked with, okay, or personal reference. So there'll be a category where you can tell whether they are your personal reference. Okay, my brother can give me a reference, he's my personal reference. But if it's a professional reference, meaning somebody should have worked with me. So in Australia, if you see, there's nothing like experience letter. Okay, so when you get out of a company, you don't get you're not given an experience letter saying this person has worked from here. But when you're joining, you get something called as the contract. Okay, so everybody gets a contract when you get a job. So that is your employment contract, that is your offer of employment that you get. And then you get pay slips. That's it. There is no release, or what do you call it, experience certificate. So it's up to you to put in your resume, this is the date I started, this is the date I ended, and these are the roles that I've done. So they will confirm that by calling your reference. So mostly reference they would prefer from someone who is your immediate manager, to whom you have reported. Okay, so to someone whom you report is generally preferred as references. When you come to Australia, your life is full of references. Okay, if you're applying for a house, they will need a reference. If you're applying for anything, they will need police clearance. So everything is about references, you having good relationship with your peers, with your colleagues, with everyone. Okay, now coming back to the resume. So when you look at the template, concentrate more about the responsibilities. That is more important. We generally just tend to write the projects that I have involved in, and I've seen resumes where they write about 1 page about the project itself. But the employer is keen to know about what is your role in that project. Okay, instead of explaining 1 page about the project itself, write about your role in that project. So I'm sure you will not handle it sole. I mean, you would just, single-handedly, but your role might be something specific, which is matching to the role you're applying for. If you're applying for, say, project manager role, so you say how you have managed the project in that particular role. What are the tools that you used? Okay, so always think about what is that something that you can value add, so the employer can pick. So if they got 10 applicants, how are you one step above the others? Think like that. Okay, you are applying for a network administrator kind of a position. Okay, so if you have some certificate that will help you to stand out other than the others, project that. Okay, so always think that one unique criteria. What is your unique preposition that you wish to bring to the table, which will make you stand one step above the others? Okay, that's what you have to target, and add such professional certifications, and that will definitely give you credit to it. So there is there I could do a template, like a general skeleton of the resume, where what will go in what. But generally, I would say you would need the name, your email, your phone number, and a brief objective if you want to, Otherwise, just start with your work experience, because that's more important, and your skill set. So what is your strength? They would ask about your strength. Don't say any weakness right away. Write your skill set. What are the things that you already know in terms of softwares, in terms of tools, in terms of your own personal traits? Like if you're a very good person with good communication skills, write it down. If you have project management skills, write that down. If you are, so always they will expect people to be independent and also to work as a team. So I'm a good team player, I am a more independent person, I can work with minimal supervision. So these are the things that they are looking at. Okay, so that's very, very important. So I will show and a screen how to pick keywords from a job, and how to project that in your resume. So let me see whether I could share my screen. I think I can. Okay. Can you all see my screen? Because I lost my coverage. Okay, I think, yeah, you can. All right. Now, this is seek.com.au. Okay, so you can just type anything to understand how the keywords work. So even here, they've written as entered keywords. They've not given any entered jobs. So this is how you search for jobs, or to know how many jobs are there in Australia. Okay, so we can just choose, say, for example, data analyst. Okay, so leave the classification. You can see, say, for example, Victoria. So just see Victoria and data analyst. It might not be similar. You get 1,994 jobs. Now just go and type all Sydney, New South Wales. Look at the jobs, 3,642. But it's not exactly data analyst. You can see there might be different stuff, but this will give you a rough idea of how you can find whether that particular job has more jobs in which state. Okay, so any occupation, whichever you're looking at, this would be a very good starting point for you to find out how many jobs are available. Okay, now let's just go to any one job. See here, data analyst, technical writer. It's totally different. So let's go to junior data analyst, and let's see what they're looking for and how you can find opportunities, and keywords to do your resume. So this one basically is posted. So great opportunity to join a market leader. So they're saying where the office is centrally located. So if you're looking for something in the regional area, then this might not be suitable for you. And then, so here they are expecting someone to have proficiency in SQL Server. So this is something that they're looking at. So if you have anything related to SQL certification, make sure you mention that in your skill set. Okay. And any prior experience that you have with SQL Server, any projects that you've done with SQL Server, please make sure to project that. And see here, these are the keywords that you would expect to project in your resume. So perform problem solving. So problem solving is a keyword. So in your skill set, you would involve efficient in problem solving, or possess problem solving traits, or problem solving qualities, and assistance on diverse business software application and hardware systems. So this is a generic term. So diverse business software application and hardware systems. In that case, you can mention what are the other softwares and stuff that you have proficiency in, or which would add value to them. Okay, again, they're asking about database administrator functions with their ability to write and read basic queries. So write about querying. Okay, so other projects that you've done which are related to querying. So this is how you drag or extract keywords from job application. So demonstrated experience troubleshooting software application issues. So the keyword is troubleshooting here. Okay, and strong troubleshooting skills. So use the same thing. This is how you can beat the algorithm and get job. Okay, use the same word in your cover letter, in your CV. Strong troubleshooting skills, problem solving skills. So these are the keywords that would get picked up if your CV is run through an algorithm or a software, with the ability to work with the range of users. So right, you reuse the same word, ability to work with multiple users. Just tweak it a little bit so it kind of matches with what they're asking for, and taking ownerships of issues through to resolution. So you can say this is more towards responsibility, so you can say responsible person, and key person in resolving issues, or you can just tweak it and make sure you've got these keywords. So this word called resolution should be there. Ownership is another keyword. Troubleshooting is another keyword. So every work, when you see, you'll have such keywords. We'll go through a couple more for you to get a clear understanding. And when they have given phone number, you can take advantage. I would strongly advise you to take advantage and call the people to understand. The simple reason being, the things that are not here on this job ad, they would spill out when you call them. So when you call, they would probably give you more information about the project. But the trick is, you have to let them speak. The more problems I see with us desis is we just talk and we just fail to listen, or we listen only to stuff that we want to listen. We just go blank and we listen only to stuff that we want to. You want to hear them say something, and only that you hear. You skip the rest. So after coming here, first of all, we would have issue of the language barrier. We would have accent issues, and then we would have this problem that we are generally more talking, we are not listening. So the key is, if I had to call this person, I would say, Jessica, hi Jessica, I saw your ad for junior data. So they don't say data here, and data, it's very tough for me to say, but I got used to it now. So you say, this particular position, junior data analyst, advertised on seek.com. So I just wish to have more information about it, and that's it. You just shut up and listen to what they say. So when they say, have a pen and paper handy and start writing the keywords so that they spill out. So they will say something like, we're looking for someone with good work ethic. Write down the word work ethic. Someone very resilient. These are the Australian terms that they use. Resilient, and with a good team player, or someone who's experienced in SQL Server, say, or maybe Java Bean, something very specific. These are the things that they say over the phone. So I would definitely encourage, if they've given, so not in all the ads you will find phone numbers, but if they're giving it here, you have to, or it's advisable you call them, and please do a basic analysis about the company. Go to the company and see what are the products, what are the services they are providing, so you can craft your resume and cover letter based on that. So another thing that we have to know is the difference between cover letter and resume. Let's get to that. We will just look at something else. Mechanical engineer. Let's go to, I don't know, Western Australia. So let's go to Western Australia. And let's see. See, I put mechanical engineer, and the algorithm has very bad keyword criteria. So we've got, okay, mechanical engineer here. Now, if you look at this, they've given you about the company, some basic video to understand the, basic about the company. It's a mining tech company. And what is the opportunity? So they're looking for someone qualified mechanical engineer to provide the engineering expertise in planning and designing of world-class products. So this is another keyword, planning and designing. Okay. So the successful candidate will collaborate with whatever to overcome challenges. So which means you have to be a team player. Okay. So you can collaborate with multiple teams involving this. And you will enjoy applying theory and analytical techniques to enjoy blah, 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 and additional duties. So these are the duties that you will be performing. So your past experience, whatever you've done, it should be related to, or it is advisable to be related to mechanical designs for products manufactured. So they are not bothered about this. If you are proficient with mechanical designs, then you will be found suitable. Okay. And ongoing management of existing tools and products. So obviously it involves some kind of project management or product management, and adherence to companies, products, blah, blah, blah. QA, QC is important. Preparing documentation for patent management. Okay. This is very, very specific. They've asked for. So what is that you have to have is the successful candidate will have strong prioritization skills, which is more like time management they're looking for, and enjoy working across multiple projects, meaning you should be a multitasker. So these are the words that you would be preferred to have when you're looking for such stuff. So we can have multitasking and strong time management. Prioritization is obviously time management. So these are the things that you can use to be smart to get the opportunity. Working to tight deadlines, obviously this is something that they will ask for. So working under pressure, working under strict deadlines, and high level written and verbal communication skills. So these are the stuff that you'll take exactly from the job description or from the ad, and you can add them as skill set if you have it. I'm not saying put all these and you will get the job, but I'm just saying to maximize the chance of you grabbing an opportunity if you are the right fit, whatever they've asked for. We have the capacity, we have the experience, we have the skill set, we just don't know how to project. Okay, so here, okay, it is a brutal fact that you have to blow your own trumpet to survive. Okay, which many of us are not very good at. We feel shy, we feel hesitant to talk about us, if we feel like we're just showing off, but it's not the case. Here you have to blow your trumpet, get used to it, and that's how you survive and you grow. It's a brutal fact. It's always hard, isn't it? Okay, so you should have a recognized degree qualification in mechanical engineering. You should have at least 5+ years of experience. So if they're asked to be successful, which is mandatory, which means you should qualify. If you're 4 years, do not even apply, because they're not going to consider. Okay, so sometimes they'll say it is desirable, it is not essential. In that case, they would consider. But if they've said these are conditions, then definitely it is needed. And they're expecting someone to have a 3D CAD software experience with SolidWorks and pre-medical, drug, alcohol, and national police. This, most of the big companies, they generally ask for medicals, drug and alcohol, and national police clearance. So you will not pay for it. After the interview, if you are successful, the company will pay for it. I think drug and alcohol stays in you. I mean, alcohol is fine. You just don't drink on the previous day or on that day. But the drug, I think it stays for 90 days, and that would cause issues. And police clearance, obviously, if you have any issues. Medical depends on the type of job. So if it involves a lot of laboring, lot of heavy weight, then you will be asked to do something relevant to heavy weight lifting and things like that. So that's all in the last stage, because the company is investing its money on you. So if you've come to that stage, you can be sure you're getting the job. Okay, but if you fail in your drug test, if you fail in the medicals, then obviously you won't be qualified. But if they've decided to hire you, that's when they would prefer to invest their money in this. Most of the companies do it. I personally have not seen companies asking the employees to spend for this, but again, it depends. Okay, and these are the things that the company offers. Okay, an industry competitive salary, flexible working arrangements, career progression, blah blah blah. And you can go to that company and find out more. Did you see here, they have not given any contact number, and they've also given shortlisting for this position will commence immediately, and agency calls and candidates will not be considered. Okay, so they do not want you to bypass and call and get more information. Only if they want people to inquire more, they will give their phone number. I'm glad we got two different types of job ad, so we could find out about the kind of details that the employer is interested in. So this is how I'm going to stop sharing my screen so we can go discuss. So this is how we basically find the job ads and keywords from the job ad itself. Okay, like they say you read the question 3 times, you'll get the answer. In question paper in schools. Similarly, when you have the job ad in front of you, I would strongly advise you to read. I'm old school. I print it out. Okay, I print it out and I underline every keyword, and I make sure to form responses and do my resume based on the keyword that they're asking for. This is for serious roles, your dream role, your career related roles. But most of the time when you land here, you would need a simple cover letter and simple resume if you're trying to get into any job to pay your bills. So we have to understand what is the difference between a cover letter and a resume? So a resume is more about straight facts about you. Okay, simple facts in a very simple manner. Anyone who looks at your one page CV or a resume should be able to understand, okay, you've done this. Okay, so as I said, for a petrol station job or a supermarket job, don't put you are an MBA qualified person, you are MTech person or a design engineer. They would feel you're overqualified. You might leave when you get your dream job. So there's always that insecurity aligned with someone overqualified applying for that role. But we know we are ready to do any job, but just don't put your entire qualification. Do you think I would have got my job into a call center if I had mentioned my doctorate? I don't think so. So I only stated that I am a bachelor's person. I only have a bachelor degree, and that's how I got the job. So we are not faking. Take this right. We are not faking. You're just downsizing your qualification to show that you are more suitable for that job. So I'm not saying to fake. That's the last thing that I would ask you to do. So do not understand my statement. All I'm saying is don't put irrelevant information. Only the contents regarding your qualification and experience that is relevant to the role that you're applying for, I would strongly encourage you to include. Do not include everything that you have to include right from your school till your current role. No, only include the stuff that are very relevant for your kind of role that you're applying for. Now, next, coming to the difference between cover letter and CV. So CV is just that one page template that I told you, and cover letter should talk about your relevancy to that particular role. So you just say, hey, whoever is addressed in the job application, and say that, hello, I wish to apply for this role advertised on Seek, blah, blah, blah. And my previous experience and educational qualification is highly relevant to this role. And just write a few words about each of the role in just like 1 or 2 lines. It should be just 1 page, not more than that. Maximum 2 pages, not more than that. So just say, the previous roles that I've done with mechanical designing has been, if you've won some awards, please make sure to mention it. If you had any achievements or success that's worth mentioning, if you single-handedly managed a project, say for example, if you're a business analyst, you got a multi-million dollar contract, so say that you were part of that multi-million contract deal, and whatever you provide there in your cover letter or in your resume, you should be able to evidence it. If they ask for evidences, you should be able to provide evidence. So don't just say, oh, you know what, I got $1 million contract. No, you can't say that. So you have to have evidences to support whatever statements that you're providing. So make sure to include evidences if they've asked, or wait for it. Okay, so do not share your personal information. Do not put the exact information in your resume in your cover letter. So there is a difference between both. So cover letter should talk about how suitable you are for that particular role. Okay, so in roles and responsibilities in your resume, you'd have just mentioned that you have expertise, you have had exposure to the software, or you have hands-on experience in the software. But how you were highly involved in that project, how efficiently you use that software in that project is what you will explain in your cover letter. Okay, imagine that is the letter that a human is going to read. The other one is probably going to run through that's how I tend to think and understand. So a resume should have crisp keywords that will help me to check all the boxes that are asked in the job description. Whereas the cover letter is more like a story where I convince the employer who is going to read my cover letter that I am the suitable candidate for the job. I think if you understand this concept, it'll be very clear. Okay, so a resume is where you have very crisp, short keywords which will scan through the algorithm and go, yes, boom, 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 this person has all these. Whereas the cover letter will explain, okay, I am a proficient in this person. I have, minimal exposure with this one. However, I have good, a short learning curve. I am a good learner. I adapt pretty quickly, and I can, get trained very quickly. I'm easily trainable. They're looking for someone who can be easily trained. Understand this concept first. Every Australian employer does not look for a highly qualified, highly skilled person with shitty ethics. Forgive my language, but that's a word they use. But they are looking for someone who has good work ethics, easily trainable, who can adapt to their work culture. Okay, so that's something that they're looking at. So make sure you mention that you are adaptable, you have a short learning curve. So when you go through these job websites, you will find different keywords that different jobs are asking for. Write down the keyword. I did this homework, so I'll write down all these keywords that most of the roles in my field that I'm searching for is asking, and then I will mention, I will include those keywords in my resume, which will be like a one combined consolidated report, which will have everything listed as keywords which would be expected out of my role. If I'm applying for a lecturer, what are the key traits that lecturer of opportunity in multiple universities are asking? So maybe five I'll pick, and then whichever is suitable for me, I'll include those in my resume. Okay, this is what you do, because we don't know the culture, we don't know the terminologies that they use here, we don't know their expectations. So this is how we do our own bit of homework to be successful in the new whole big continent that we are landing. All of us go through this initial struggle until we find that sweet spot to fit into that job. So you might completely land in a different. I never ever thought in my life I'll be doing a YouTube video. I'm someone who's the last person to even post for a photo. I'm such a person, and here I am managing two different channels and on social media. So it gives you a whole different new life, whole different perspective, because you have the freedom. People don't judge you. Okay, if you're pushing trolley in a supermarket, and if somebody sees you, maybe if it's an Indian, they're going to judge you, but if otherwise, everybody is equally respected. There is no job that is low, there's no job that is high. So everybody is treated equally, and all the pay, unless you are in a very good job, but most of the normal jobs are in a bit of a few dollars of difference per hour, but pretty much you get paid the same thing. You working in a call center or cleaning, it's pretty much the same. It's just the nature of job that is different. So when you're coming here, you should have a bit of an open mind to accept the different roles that comes up, and any job, that should be your mindset. Okay, I think this is what I wanted to convey. So many people have asked. I have different videos about Australian jobs. There's a separate playlist, so make sure to check out those videos. So I've got a separate video where I've addressed about the different resume editing tips. I also have a separate video. I think about the different certifications and documents you will need for your first job, and there are 5 certifications within $100. Once you come here, you can get a job with that minimum $100 qualification. So because it is a huge thing, right? We all need a job. We didn't come here to do seva. So we have to accept the fact that we have come here to make a living. We have sacrificed. We have sacrificed our whole family, our country, everything. It takes a lot of courage to do that, especially when you're in your 30s and late 20s. It's a huge big step, and when we're taking that step, we have to take it right. I didn't have anyone to handhold me. Okay, I learned it my way, but by God's grace, God has been really kind. For me, things have worked out really well, and that is the reason I'm here to share such positive things, and to tell you all, come here, it's going to be good, it's not bad. Whomever you ask, they'll be like, don't move to Australia, don't move to here, you will not get a job. It's there everywhere. Okay, but it's still a better thing here. Okay, so it's all for good. Have positive stuff, have confidence. So let's go to the questions. I think I've covered the things that I wanted to cover in today's live, because that's more important. My resume is around 3 to 4 pages. How many pages can make? So I think I've answered this question. So if you are looking for a job in your own field, I would say 3 pages or 4 pages should be okay. If you're writing, like I said, don't write 1 page about the project or the software that you developed or something generic. People will write, I worked in, I had a resume which said, I worked in India's first $1 billion company or whatever. Who cares? If you're working for $1 billion company, it doesn't matter. If you're working for a startup, if you're the only employee, it doesn't matter. What matters is what is your role in that company. Okay, what do you bring to that table? So that's what. So choose. I think we are used to so much masala, right? We quote so much masala everywhere. So all clear all the masala and just write only stuff about you and what the employer will be interested to know about you. Okay, if I'm doing my resume, the employer doesn't care if I'm married. Okay, the employer doesn't care if I hold a passport. The employer doesn't care if my date of birth is that. It doesn't matter. So don't include all that information. Think whether it is relevant to the role you're applying for, whether the employer will be interested to know. Okay, here nobody cares about your personal life. It's not like India, whether it's married, single, with kid, without kid, single, divorcee, it doesn't matter here. Nobody gets judged, and that's why I'm here. Okay, it's a beautiful world here to not being judged. Please share some templates. Shashikant, I must confess, I must admit, I am literally out of time, but this is on my to-do list and I'm developing a new website and we will have templates soon. Okay, Jay Shankar and Shashikant, I'll definitely have templates for you very soon, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. That is on my to-do list. All the visa documents that are required, templates for various skill assessments, and for PTE, how to clear PTE. So there are a lot of things that is there on my to-do list, but it's just pending my dashboard creation on my WordPress website that's being outsourced now. So I'm doing stuff. It's moving, but it's on my pace because I've got so much going on in my space at the moment. Greetings, Isha. I'm here to know about the difference in the scope of Masters of Teaching Secondary and Masters of Education, and also the PR prospects of these two different qualifications. General Masters of Education is more to do with understanding the education system here. And you could go and work in Department of Education, like how we have in India the department where you will do syllabus for CBSE or any state board syllabus and admin jobs, anything. That is the general Master of Education. And Master of Teaching Secondary is very specific qualification that you obtain to get a teaching job in a secondary school in Australia. Okay, so scope, again, it depends. Teaching, personally, if you ask me, teaching would have more opportunities because you have schools everywhere, but the admin kind of education kind of roles might be restricted, especially if we are on a temporary visa. They might ask for citizens or PR. There's always that thing. But teaching secondary, I'm pretty sure it has got better PR prospects, especially as migrants. And as part of that course, you also get your internships with different schools. I think I've addressed that in the previous live as well. So, sorry. So that has better scope, according to me. I'm a bit confused because the two, as I'm from science background, and I've heard that there is a huge requirement. Yes, science and maths. It's very, I don't know, it's very different because here a science teacher would be expected to teach maths, because when you do your Master of Teaching, you would be forced, underline bold, you would be forced to choose 2 specialization. Okay, and when I enrolled in this course, and that's the reason I know so much, but I quit after my first semester because there was too much. I just couldn't do it. And so you would be forced to choose between 2. So make sure you choose one easy and one tough. Say one is LOT, like language other than English, and one is science. So we as Indians will be more forced to choose something very, has more scope. Like math, I was so over ambitious. I chose maths and science, and it was too much. So from my personal experience, I'm saying, so if you want to specialize in science, be clear, take science, take the other specialization a little bit, say like computer technology, ICT, and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm equally interested both of these courses. Sorry, I scrolled too much. I like to teach, and I'm also good at handling the administrative aspect. I've done BSc Honors Biochemistry followed by MSc Biochemistry. Yeah, so I think for you, my advice would be to go for Master of Teaching in secondary. One thing I want to warn you is the attitude of students will be very different here. So you will have to be culturally prepared for the shock. Okay, so you will not expect people standing up when you come in and wishing you good morning or say thank you. My 5-year-old, 9-year-old, both call their teachers with their first name or even their last name. It depends on the teacher. And there's nothing like standing up, wishing, and even teenagers, even worse. Secondary schooling is, I saw, because I tutor students. I do private tuitions in my house. I do one-on-one. But when I do like a group at times, then you know their culture, then you know their attitude, then you know your behavior, and you're not ready for it. Even university, I handled a lab, and even Indians, Nepali, Sri Lankan students who are there in the lab, they will behave like Aussies because they just want to show off. And that is something that I, as an individual, could not handle. And I was like, I can't do this. Okay. So that's one thing. It's just as a gesture of goodwill, I'm sharing this. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to scare you, but I just want you to know it's a whole different culture here. You will learn, you will adapt, but initially it'll be hard for you to digest, or maybe you know it already. I'm not sure, Isha, but it's just my friendly piece of advice so you know what you're getting yourself into. But it's a very rewarding position. If you have family, if you have children, then you get holidays when your kids have holidays, and the pay is really good. Try for regional areas. The pay is very, very good for teaching. Okay, even if you're not getting a permanent role, you will get relief roles and other stuff like that, which I think I covered in last week's live. Good evening. Good evening, Divyendra. Good evening, Milan. Hello, Irshad, Sai Narayan. Hi, ma'am. I'm a nurse. For OBA, need to pay 4,000. So how much experience will be there to stay? For OBA program, how to find accommodation college will provide, or we need to search. I'm not sure about the requirement to stay for the OBA, but accommodation to find, I've got a separate video on this Metacare Tribe channel. Sometimes I think which channel I'm on, English or Tamil. Yeah, so you can see accommodations. You can book by yourself, how to view, find cheap accommodations on realestate.com. I've done that video. College accommodation will always be expensive, so don't try to get to colleges. Go to different Facebook groups and go to gumtree.com, go to realestate.com and find out cheap accommodations. Just talk to the owner. Gumtree, it will be direct owner. So talk to the owner, and first, initially, don't sign a 6-month, 1-year contract because you don't know how long you're going to be. Tell them honestly, I'm coming there, I don't know the place, so I'll just take a 1-month lease or 1-month contract, because you can't break the lease. Okay, so if I'm having a lease, so this house, for example, I had a 1-year lease that is finishing on next Tuesday. So if any time I leave this house before next Tuesday, whether I stay, I don't stay, I have to pay the rent. If not, I have to find someone else. It's called a lease break. So I have to find someone else, or someone, or I will have to pay the rent, and there is some penalties and stuff. There is huge drama associated with that. So don't try to break lease. So just put a 1-month contract, and after you come here, you will make friends, you will know people, and then you can move. Okay. So, but check out that video, Shaheen. It'll be helpful for you. I'm a graphic designer with 3 years of experience in India. Any chance in Australia? 12th pass. It would be a little bit difficult because for any skill assessment to be positive, it's always the educational experience and educational qualification and work experience. So, Irshad, you have started at a young age. My advice would be to do a 2-year, say, even a part-time course or an online course, something that will be recognized. Don't do in some Dabba institutes in India. So take up a good online curriculum which will be valid, and so you will have 5 years of experience. So get pay slips. This is the problem we do. Right, we don't have pay slips, we don't file taxes, we don't have anything documented. We take salary by cash, so there's nothing going in the account. So now that you've started this process early, I would say do the thing whatever you wanted to do in a proper way. So if you don't have pay slips, start getting pay slips from your employer. If you don't get your salary in your bank account, start getting your salary in your bank account. If you're not paying taxes, pay taxes, get your form 16. Okay, so all these things you do for 2 years. Side by side, you will have 5 years of experience and some qualification. Okay, and then apply for this thing, your skill assessment, because with school qualification and 3 years of experience, it is not possible to migrate. But you have given it a thought and you have started processing at this age, which is very good. So by the time you start doing 2 or 3 years, it doesn't matter, because you know your destination. You're just traveling to your destination. So don't be in a rush, or don't be losing your confidence at this stage. Just move to that destination. Okay. Is it possible to take trade course from India? Why will you sit in India and pay Australian fees, dude? It is not needed for you to take. There's no advantage in doing the online course by paying huge sum of money if you're not coming here, if that makes sense. You can get visa on trade courses. Okay. I would advise you to check TAFE. It's called TAFE. It's always advice. See, whatever course you do, all we need is PR. Okay, this is what I say, people. Don't think engineering, MBA, such things. Don't have that desi mindset. So come here with an open mind. Come here with cheap courses, but courses which will give you a job, which will give you a PR. Eventually, that's our final destination. So trade courses have more opportunity to get you a permanent residency. So check TAFE in different states. So if you're looking at Victoria, it will be TAFE Victoria, TAFE New South Wales, TAFE SA South Australia, TAFE WA, TAFE NT. Every state has got its own TAFE, which has a lot of funded courses, a lot of international students. Obviously, it will not be funded, but you can check those courses in cookery, okay, in pastries, in anything related other than these professional courses comes under TAFE. And it's all about trades, and it's all about other, what do they call it here? It's called VET course, vocational education training. So that's very important in Australia. Even the school children get used to the VET courses. Okay, so Sandhya, I'm an aspiring event manager, but I've done my UG in computer science. Will that be eligible for getting a job? They have 2 years of event management experience. Now, this is the problem. Sandhya, does a TAFE diploma done online be helpful, or is it better to do in campus? In campus is always better. I just read all the things from Sandhya, so I can explain to her. See, the thing is, Sandhya, if you have an UG in computer science, and if you want to come here as an event management, meaning with 2 years of event management experience in computer science, you will not be qualified for say an event manager kind of a skill migrant, okay, because your education is in computer science, your experience is in event management. You can come here and do whatever you want, but coming here needs the right qualification and the right work experience. Okay, so with this, I would suggest you coming here as a student, or you have to have your experience in your computer science field to migrate as a skill migrant. But if you're coming here as a student, you can come in any course and you can work as an event manager. It's up to you. That's up to you. But you can't come here as a skilled event manager with this work experience and your current qualification. I think that made sense. Uma. Hi Priya, can we apply for a job from India after getting visa, or should I first come to Australia and then apply? So when you apply for jobs, if you don't have, see, nobody stops you from applying for jobs. Even now you can apply for jobs, even without skill assessment, even without joining for jobs. But these criteria is that whether you are, you have a valid work visa, whether you have your local phone number, local email where they can contact you, your work references, these are the things. So when you write your cover letter, if your visa is granted, that's what I did. When I applied for jobs, even without getting my visa, they said, we really appreciate, that's how the Aussies reply. We really appreciate taking your time to apply for this job. Your profile really looks good. It matches. However, we would strongly encourage applicants to be here physically when you get a job. So once you come here, you apply, we'll consider. So this is the standard reply you will get, but you can apply. Nobody stops you. There's no harm in applying. So you will at least know how many rejections you get. You get used to rejections and the mindset. So I would strongly encourage you to apply. There's no harm, and see what emails that you get. What are the ways the company contacts us once they shortlist? So they will call. This is what I said. Once you don't have your Australian phone number, I think that's where the problem. If we are in different region, will they do online interview first, or should we travel? No. So if you're here, if you're in a different state, if you are sitting in Adelaide and you apply for a job in Sydney, they will not ask you to come there. Okay. So if you're here, mostly they will do a telephone round interview. And if you can't come, then they'll do a video interview. So all this can be done. So if you find a company that is really interested in you, all you can do is ask them to do a video interview, because you can do that wherever you are, or a phone interview, and shortlist, get an offer letter. Once you get, so they can just have a condition there. Once they get the visa, land in here, we will get it. If the person is not urgent, but I doubt they'll do it. But just in case. So if that is the ways, you have to just be smart. No hard work is required here in Australia. Okay. All you need is to be smart and just tell them and be honest. Okay. They're very understanding. They're very flexible. All you need to do is tell them the real scenario. This is what it is. I'm here. I'm awaiting for my visa because of the travel ban. I'm unable to travel. Once this subsides, I will be able to join your organization. I'm really keen. So if you say, oh my God, I'm dying to be with you, okay, which is not, but you have to just fake it. Just tell them that I'm really desperate. I really love this company. This is the kind of company I want to work with, blah, 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 make it up. And I think that should be good. So just try your best to get online interviews and telephone interviews, so you kind of get through that first step, and then they're really keen, or at least you've made that network. Once you come here, you can always say, hey, I guess you remember we had this conversation when I was back in India. I've got my visa, and the travel ban is lifted. I'm reaching Adelaide, or I'm reaching Melbourne on so and so date. So can we catch up for a coffee? This is how they say when they want to discuss something. So they don't say, can we do a meeting? They say, can we catch up for a coffee? Meaning they want to sit and discuss with you something regarding work, or you just want to meet someone officially, not like date type, but you just say, can we catch up for a coffee? Which means you want to meet them to discuss something. If they say yes, schedule an appointment, go catch up for a coffee. And that's how life goes here. Okay, moving on. Sandhya, does a TAFE diploma done online be helpful, or is it better? I think I have answered this question before. I think doing it in campus makes more sense. Why would we pay thousands of dollars and do it online? Okay, thank you. You're welcome, Irshad. Please explain the interview process for IT jobs after resume shortlisting. So every company has its own processes to shortlist candidates. Like I said, most of the big companies, the resume goes through the algorithm. They'll have a separate HR department that handles these things, or they will give it to recruitment agencies, which will do it. And if you're going to regional areas, make sure you don't flick your resume to every damn job agency, because there'll be a small people with 4 or 5 people in the office. So when you edit your resume for different jobs and send it, they'll be like, oh, this guy just applied for this one, So I've had that experience. So don't do that. So make sure before you do send out your resume, you modify it based on the job requirement, and make sure it is of Australian standards, and send the resume. And if they shortlist you, the first thing they'll do is give you a call. So for the first thing any company will do is they'll call you. They'll say, hey, guess what, you're selected. And then they will give you either a video interview. The next they will walk you through the next steps. It'll be a video interview, or it could be any other interview. And finally is when they will schedule a personal appointment, like a direct face-to-face meeting. Will be when you're getting to that stage. If you've done the reference checks, you're halfway through, okay, because they will not spend time checking your references if they don't like the candidate. So if they're doing your reference check, in that case, you are 80-90% through. All right. So if they're asking you to come for a personal interview, it's more to check your physical thing, how much you work ethic matches the company, and how much you suit the work culture. Okay. So that's pretty much the general stuff, but it depends on the company. If I worked in MCD, I assume it's McDonald's or Domino's in India. Can that experience benefit me to get a job and starting? Definitely. If you say I've worked in McDonald's, then definitely there's more chance of you getting hired in McDonald's or Domino's if you're trying McDonald's or Domino's in the first instance. I'm applying for a cook. Where would you advise for us to go? We're still outside Australia. Applying for a cook. Yes, if you have any kind of cooking, hospitality certifications and work experience, cook is always in demand. Even if you come here, you will get a job very quickly. Only during Corona, so many people in the chef and restaurant industry suffered some hiccups because all the restaurants were closed, they can't pay. But generally, cook is highly suggested and highly recommended job. You can specialize in some cookery stuff. Say, for example, pastry chef, it's very much in demand. Everybody loves cakes, puffs and bread and whatnot. They love baking here. So you could specialize in something, and you can check for the skilled occupation list once it's released in October, and try applying for 491 visa. 491 always suggested. Irshad, I would suggest you have a look at 491 visa, but please take that advice and make sure to get yourself qualified to get this the required qualification for you to get skilled visas. So people who have stick till the end, if you would like your resume to be reviewed. But last time when I said that in that paper, I had so many people send me their resume, okay, but they didn't have the required minimal information on that resume. And I emailed them saying, can you give me these information? I was doing it for free. Okay, take that information. I was doing it for free. I was reviewing people's resume and giving them advice, like change this, these are the stuff, but they didn't even come back to me till today. Okay, they didn't come back to me with the required information. But if you have stuck till the end, and if you want your resume to be modified to Australian standards once you land in Australia, or even now, if you want to do it, I would do it for a very minimal price. How much you want to do it? $40, $50? Okay, something like that. I'm not going to do it for free this time, because people don't value stuff when I do it for free. Okay, I've learned my lesson. So normally the resume editing in Australia is charged anywhere between $185 to $350. Okay, that's the normal standard. You can Google and find out. But if you want me to do it, I'll do it for 40 or 50. Okay, that is only because you will value my time, you will value my efforts. That's the only reason I'm charging. Otherwise, I'm happy to do it for free. But this time, I'm not going to give it for free. But if you want it, if you're serious about it, if you want it to be modified, reach out to me in my email, and I'm happy to help. Okay. I wish it was helpful. It was useful. I hope you all find your sweet spot, your dream job, your loving job, and you settle well in Australia. Any help, any questions, feel free to comment, and I'll meet you all. I'm not sure next week I'll do a live because I'm moving house, and maybe the week after I'll see you all in the live. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, and I'll see you all in the next video.